Today, we got chicken wire, hardware cloth, and welded wire. Which one is right for you? Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to a fun, fabulous adventure. A bird tripping with Ben. Bird tripping with Ben. I like it. I like it. Anyways, guys, welcome back to Splitting Tracks Pheasantry. Today, we are going to talk about wire. Chicken wire, some hardware cloth, and some welded wire. And which one I believe is best. Okay? Now, I know that there's other things like poultry netting that you would put on top of a flight pen, you know, so birds can't break their neck when they jump into it. You know, I haven't used that before. I haven't had the need. I didn't raise any ring necks, you know, or had large aviaries enough to accommodate poultry netting of that magnitude, you know, the nylon netting. But I'm going to get into what I have used throughout the years and, you know, what I've learned from certain ones and just what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to tell you guys what I've used, my experiences, and there's a couple other ones that I'll talk about later on in the video that I haven't used that got good reviews too. So anyways, without further ado, let's just get on it, guys. This stuff right here. Oh, chicken wire. You guys see that? Y'all familiar with chicken wire, right? It's cheap, sometimes durable. You can stretch it, you know, to shape it or whatever. And sometimes just hard to work with, you know. You got to pull it with pliers, or I'm sorry, like a screwdriver or something to wrap it around something. And I've used it for many years with success. But here's something I have learned too, is that not all chicken wire is created equal. And what I mean by that, here, let me show you guys. This is Albert's pen right here. Okay, check it out. He has chicken wire all over his pen. This was a good quality roll of chicken wire. Okay, this has lasted years, guys, years, okay? And it's still holding pretty strong, you know? With how old it is, you would think I could squeeze it and it would just rip. But no, it's holding pretty strong. Now, eventually, I'm gonna replace it with welded wire, and I'll get into that. But let me show you the negative side of chicken wire. Okay, this, for instance, this is an old pen right here, one that we gotta demolish and take to the dump. But anyhow, you guys see that right there, how it is ripped. Now, over the years, cheap chicken wire, you know, it can't stand the elements. Sort of like wood. You don't want wood to get, you know, wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry. Then it just rots, you know. And this cheap chicken wire right here, I mean, seriously, I just pulled it out like that, and it just rips. You know, the chicken wire was buried under here. And you know, this is a couple years, yeah, but still, you want your stuff to last a lot longer than that. Okay, so those of you who have been following me for a while know about my bigger aviaries used with chicken wire. Okay, I was still on the chicken wire kick. I was on that stubborn, use chicken wire only. That's what I've been used to for years. But only here recently, within the last couple years, I have started using welded wire. But let me show you a couple large aviaries that I have using chicken wire. And that chicken wire is holding up pretty strong, like Albert's pen. But still, even you can't always guarantee what quality of chicken wire you're going to get. But here, let me show you, for example, what I'm talking about here. Morning, Gus. My Chrysolophus pictus setup here. A lot of cobwebs. Gosh, out here in the mountains, spiders just run the place, especially this time of year. Must be breeding season. Anyways, this is chicken wire, of course, you guys can tell. This is holding really strong, okay? If you guys have to use chicken wire, I'm gonna recommend something. Get the best quality you can find, and don't let it get wet. You know, if you prevent it from getting wet, or less, don't let it get wet and dry, wet and dry, wet and dry, that kind of thing. But overall, you know, I like the welded wire because, check it out. This stuff is durable. This stuff right here is the 1x2 inch. I'll show you the roll here in a second. But can Can you guys just see that? I don't know. I'm pulling on it, I'm squeezing it. There's no give, you know? And it's really easy to work with. Okay, so here's a small piece of that welded wire roll. Now, for what I use, since my pins are now 8x16, I get the 4-foot tall roll. So that way, you know, it fits better than the dimensions. 8x16, 4 foot, you know. If you have a pin that's 16 foot long, you're gonna use 4, you know, strips along the front. Anyways, yeah, most divisible by. Anyways, so yeah, this is the welded wire. And what I really like about this, guys, not only is it durable, is that when you fold it out to the size you need and you cut it, and it's just like panels. You put it on the wall like a panel, you know, no pulling, no stretching like chicken wire. And yeah, overall great stuff. Now, before we had Ollie and Gus, guys, we had raccoons and foxes rip through that chicken wire, and they will rip through it. If you have valuables, guys, don't go cheap. You know, get the welded wire. This stuff right here, I mean, a mountain lion couldn't get through it. But sometimes we can't find this. This is hard to find. You know, I've been looking on Amazon, they're out of stock. Luckily, we found a feed store not too far away, and we got another roll, so I can continue my projects. But yeah, don't go cheap, guys. Now, nowadays, I mean, these birds can sleep on the ground. With Ollie and Gus around, nothing will bother them, you know. But if you don't have the luxury or, you know, the privilege of having wonderful LGDs like I do, you know, welded wire, okay? Now, let's talk about hardware cloth. This stuff is pretty durable too. I like it. It will last a lot longer than chicken wire, for sure. But I do have an aviary with just hardware cloth, okay? And I'm gonna tell you a problem with that. You free rangers are hungry, huh? And I'm over here just babbling away about chicken wire. Feathers everywhere. Look at that, guys. I just cleaned it up. Anyways, you guys know that feathers, the white feathers, just drive me nuts. Anyways, back to the story at hand. My cleage, they're in this pen right here, this aviary. And this aviary for wire is the hardware cloth, okay? Now, it's pretty durable. This has been up for years and it's still holding strong, but I did find a problem with it, okay? Now, I fixed that problem, so I can't really show you, for example, but if you get hardware cloth with a rough finish, that's really bad for the bird's beak. You guys see how that cleage right there is pacing the side there? Now, if you have walls set up on the side so where they can't rub their beak on it, that's fine. But this stuff right here was a rough finish. It wasn't a smooth finish like that other wire I just showed you. So what happens is they run their beak all along it side to side, and they will scrape the tip of their beak, okay? And it will become worn off and it will break. Yeah, it happens. If you guys ever see your bird's beak chipped away at the front or something like that, and you have this hardware cloth, look at the surface of it. It might be pretty rough. Now, how did I combat that problem? Well, the cleage didn't have the problem, okay? I found out the problem before I even put the cleage in here. It was with some chickens that I had years ago. When I first built the pen, I had chickens in it, and I noticed their beak was rubbed pretty roughly. You know, it would rub dry, and it would crack, it'd break. It was awful. Yeah, and a rough finish will do that to your bird's beak when they're pacing the side like that. Now these birds don't have that problem, but how I combated that was I painted the insides up to, I know I can see it, I don't know if the camera will catch it, but oh, it's right here. About right there down, I painted the inside and outside, like 2 coats. And you can see the paint right there. Can you guys see the paint right there? See between or in the corners there, you can see the paint still dried up. But yeah, that fixed the problem. Never had a problem after that. But it was a lot of work because I wanted to put a good coat on it. See, there's a little paint there. I wanted to put a good coat on it so that it wouldn't happen again. It was something I didn't even think of. Sometimes you learn from your mistakes. Like me, I always learn from my mistakes. I mess up a lot. But yeah, see more paint there. So yeah, the paint's still holding strong. Yeah, so if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't even use this hardware cloth. I don't want that problem, you know, unless you're guaranteed to have a smoother finish. Here's what I mean by the smoother finish. Well, in comparison, I'll get up higher here. You see how that's a dull gray? It's a dull gray, it's a rough finish. Now, look at this hardware cloth, guys. You see how it's really shiny? And even yet, it still can be deceiving. It could be a rough finish, okay? But if you're going to have to use the hardware cloth, I recommend get you a shiny roll. That way it has a smoother and feel on with your hands. If it feels like sandpaper, don't use it unless you're going to cover it or paint it or whatever. But if you rub your hands on it and it feels smooth, that's what your bird's beak, you know, if they don't have a barrier between them, but that's what your bird's beak is going to rub on. Like rub your nail on it, you know? Does it file your nail like a rough surface? Does it feel like sandpaper? No. So this right here is pretty smooth. It's not going to tear them up. It really does go for the welded wire too, you know? This stuff right here, see how shiny? Rub your hands on it, you know? You want your bird's beak rubbing along that if it's all rough? No, this is right here, it's pretty smooth, you know? So there's a tip for you. You know, you go in a feed store, you get some wire, be it welded wire, hardware cloth, chicken wire, even chicken wire, yeah. Rub your hands on it. Does it feel smooth? You know, if it feels like sandpaper, it's gonna grind your bird's beak down. Now let me show you guys what I love about hardware cloth. And I still use it, but for what? Here, check this out. Let's take a little spot that isn't buried yet. But see the hardware cloth right here, it's along the ground. I have it buried. It's the side skirts. You know, it goes from the pen, then I bury it under the ground like so, okay? Now I found it to last really long. And before I've used chicken wire for that. And oh gosh, it's still holding up strong. Now I know eventually I'm gonna have to go back over it. That's the thing with chicken wire. You use chicken wire, it's temporary, okay? When? It's like a ticking time clock, you know? It's just a matter of time when you're gonna have to replace it. So, the hardware cloth, I know this right here, will last a lot longer than me. But yeah, this is what I love to use it for. Now, if you're gonna bury it like this, it doesn't matter if it's rough or smooth, you know? Have that smooth finish to it, as long as it's strong. You know, because you're gonna bury it, you know? And then of course there's my pin with the welded wire, which I love this stuff. Because seriously, you can cut it out like a panel and slap it on. No pulling, no stretching, nothing, you know? I do have some smaller staples in it, but I recommend using the fencing staples, you know? Or as my stepdad used to call them when I was a kid, horseshoe nails. And I called them horseshoe nails forever. Okay, so now here's a good example of a welded wire pin and then the hardware cloth coming down from the bottom board right here, the side skirt. This is just so an animal could not dig in. Now I know the welded wire is set back, or I'm sorry, the hardware cloth is set back under here buried, you know, but dealing with these predators all my life, I've realized animals like to come up and dig right close to the pin. So they don't know that you can come over here, dig a hole or dig a tunnel straight through here. Animals ain't really that smart. They like to go right up here and dig. And besides, I got my dog, so I don't even have a problem with them trying to get in anymore. And of course, here's my mistake. This is an older pin of the welded wire, but see this chicken wire holding strong. I am eventually going to have to replace that. I know it. It's coming. But I got a couple years, I think. Anyways, don't do that. See, you guys, you're lucky to have me go through all these mistakes in my life so I can share them with you, so you guys don't freaking mess up like I do. Okay, so I think I covered my likes and dislikes of each one. I don't really have dislikes of the welded wire. Big fan of that stuff, guys. If you can use it, it's great, you know? And I think it's a lot safer than chicken wire. Over the years, using chicken wire, cutting it, you know, stretching it to fit, and you know, having it come back on you, it's a lot more dangerous. Wear safety goggles for sure. When dealing with any wire, wear safety goggles. But even more so with that chicken wire, guys. That stuff is dangerous. A lot of little pokies and stuff. You know, the hardware cloth, the welded wire, you can lay it down flat, cut it to piece, to size, I'm sorry, and slap it on like freaking, like a panel. You know, like roofing panels or OSB or what have you. Dogs are on a trip. Yep, keep the predators away, so I don't mind the barking. But anyways, guys, I did say I was gonna go over Oh yeah, a couple of other things that people use. Now, one of the other things that other people use is that coated chicken wire. It looks like chicken wire, but it's coated with plastic. Some people are a big fan of it. It lasts forever. And let me tell you why. When it's coated like that, you know, the wire will hold its strength. It'll hold its form longer because it's not getting exposed to the elements. It's not getting wet, dry, you know, or just rotted in dirt or whatever. It's coated with plastic, and some people are a fan of it. So if you guys can get a hold of that stuff, yeah, all the better. I haven't. We don't really carry it around here. I don't really see it. A little bit pricier, I'm sure, but you know, you can't put a price on your birds. If you're trying to protect your livestock, you gotta do what you gotta do. And another thing some people use is dog kennels. Now let's check those out. This right here is a dog kennel. Of course, I have my Impian in. This stuff is strong. I mean, a bear could not get through this stuff right here. But look at the holes, you know. I get away with it because I have my dogs, you know. But a raccoon or something could just put their hand right through that stuff. And if you're going to use something like this, have their roosting pole, see that right there, set up in the middle or something, not along the edge, because if you have your roosting pole set up along the edge of this, an animal can just reach in and rip them apart. But if you have them roosting on a pole like that, you know, in the middle of it, they can't reach them, you know. So if they can't reach them, they can't reach them. So yeah, I'm going with a more uniform look of my aviaries. So eventually this right here will go to my son and his goats. I keep saying that, and he knows I keep saying it. He's waiting for that day, but here I still have it and I'm still using it. So the more I build of these newer design pins, the faster he gets this. But anyhow, if you guys can get away with using this, these are really cool, you know. Even the chain link ones are cool. Just make sure you have some other way of protecting your birds. Some people will slap chicken wire on the inside or outside of these and call it good, you know. That works too. Okay guys, I think that pretty much covers it. Sorry I didn't show many birds on this video, if any. But I do a lot of videos of just birds, and then I do some more videos of just me talking. And I do all sorts of videos. You guys know that. If you guys want to see some more bird action, you got it in another one of my videos. But anyhow, let's just recap what we went through over this video. Anyways, my choice, welded wire. From here on out, I am sold. And if I didn't tell you guys earlier, this is 1x2 inch. Now, don't get this confused with the 2x4 inch, okay? The 2x4 inch is a lot less durable than this stuff, and it's 2x4 inch, bigger holes, you know? Something can get through that. You'd be surprised what a fox can get through. Anyways, so yeah, the welded wire, and then the hardware cloth. This is all I really use, and all I really recommend you guys use. If you don't have to use this for a side skirt, if you do have, you know, cement barriers buried around your pen, then this will be obsolete. You really don't need it. The welded wire though, I do recommend that. It's good stuff right here. You know, easy to work with, and yeah, just overall good choice. All right, you guys, this is that time where I sign off. I'm glad you guys joined me. Hope you liked the video. I hope I covered everything about the wire. And if you guys out there use something different than anything I mentioned before, you know, put in the comments. You know, other people, you know, who watch this channel, you know, would like to learn from your tips as well. Not just mine, but, you know, viewers like you. So, yeah, until next time, guys, this has been of Splitting Tracks Pheasantry signing off, and see you later. Bye now.